Football, big night of Europa League action here on 5 Live and 5 Live Sports Extra as Premier League underachievers Man United and Spurs try and make the final of the Europa League against each other in their second leg semi-final. Spurs travel to the north of Norway to face Bodø / Glimt, defending a 3-1 lead from the first leg. The former Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger has stirred the pot a bit, claiming the winners of the Europa League shouldn't be given a Champions League spot, which is currently what lifting the trophy brings. The Spurs manager, Mr. Postecoglou, is giving that short shrift.
Spurs does crazy things to people. You put that club into any sentence or any issue, and invariably they all come out and try and diminish as much as they can. Why wasn't it an issue before and it's an issue now? Don't understand what the difference is.
And one of the few hundred Spurs fans to have made the long journey is Chris Cowlin from the Spurs Chat podcast, who watches a frightening amount of Tottenham Hotspur, if you ask me. Chris, so how did you get there?
Hi, Adrian. Good afternoon to you. 2 planes, actually, from Gatwick to Oslo and then Oslo to Bodø. It's been very straightforward, actually, but it's very cold. It's 4 degrees here, but hopefully the trip is going to be well worth it. Of course, we go into the second leg, 3-1 up.
So what's the place like?
It's very, very quiet. It's very clean. The people are extremely friendly. The population here is 42,000, and when you think of the capacity at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, 62,850. So to give you a better idea of the capacity of their stadium, 8,270. York City, Exeter, Raith Rovers, Leyton Orient, Grimsby, they have bigger stadiums than Bodø Glimt, who are going to be hosting this Europa League semi-final. And even Carlisle, they have double capacity of at their stadium, the Bodø Glimt. So that's to give you a better idea of how small it is here.
Okay, a small stadium in a small town of which we know little, and you're 3-1 up from the first leg. It's absolutely nailed on, isn't it?
Nothing is nailed on when it comes to Tottenham Hotspur, but I tell you what, the players have got to grab their opportunity. We have to go into that final, and we have to be, thinking that we're going to lift this trophy. It's been a very, very dismal league season this year. We've been riddled with injuries, and of course, this week we've been told that Bergwijn is out now for the rest of the season. Maddison and Son hasn't travelled either, so our creative players are missing ahead of this big tie. But this is not going to be an easy game. And interestingly, I took a hike up one of the mountains earlier today, and I bumped into only one Bodø fan, and he said morning, and he said we're feeling very confident today. And I said, really? And he said, yes, we are in complete control of this tie. And I said, how do you work that out? We're 3-1 up. He said, the plastic pitch. You guys are not going to be liking that plastic pitch. We are in control of this tie. But as I said, the Spurs players, they need to grab this opportunity because it's not going to come along very often. And
did you find a cosy bar wherein to watch the Arsenal semi-final last night, all you Spurs fans?
Well, I tell you what, you talk about difficult ties in Europe. Just ask Arsenal how they do in Europe. They don't find it easy.
No.
But I'm not interested in what they're doing. I just focus on what Tottenham are doing.
But you go to every game, don't you? I mean, you went. When was it? You went to Australia to see a friendly against Newcastle United. That's madness.
Yeah, we finished the season at Sheffield United. I literally drove down to Heathrow and made the game by a matter of hours to Melbourne, Australia. Went 25 hours, but everyone has got their weird and wonderful ways about them, and following Tottenham Hotspur is mine. So I follow the club home away all around the world, and also follow a lot of the youth teams as well, and the Spurs women. So yeah.
Would you ever miss a first team game?
Never.
When's the last one you missed?
I think it was about 15 years ago, and it's got to be a pretty good reason for me to miss a game. If it's family birthdays or whatever, we postpone them and we do it another day. But,
I mean, do you get any stick from your family?
Absolutely. But I think everyone's used to it now. But, like I said, everyone's got their weird and wonderful ways. Spurs is mine, and I'm never, ever going to miss a game, especially such a high-profile game like this.
Is this the furthest north you've ever watched Tottenham Hotspur?
I think so. It's one of the coldest places I've visited, I must say, but I have no issues at all. If Spurs say they're suddenly playing in South Korea, Australia, Thailand, Singapore, whatever, wherever they play, I'll book the.
And will they even need floodlights tonight at this time of year?
Well, interestingly, Adrian, I landed about 10:30 last night, and it's such a small place. You can literally walk out from the airport and you literally bump into the stadium, going into the town centre. It's only a very, very short walk, 15 minutes or so. And I was passing the stadium at 11 p.m. and I took a very, very clear video and pictures. It was very, very clear. It was very light.
Okay. Interesting. Well, look, I'll speak to you tomorrow, but it hardly matters whether you win or lose. You'll be at the next game, wherever it may be.
Well, we've got to win. Okay. As I say, we've got to take this opportunity. It'd be great to put a trophy in the cabinet. All
right. Well, I'm rooting for you, which is normally the kiss of death. So, but let's see. Perhaps I'll get hold of you tomorrow. Chris Cowlin, thanks very much for joining us from the Spurs Chat podcast. It's just gone 1:30.